Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Across the Fence, I'm Fran Stoddard. Manufacturing jobs are among the highest paying in the state. In fact, the manufacturing sector in Vermont is worth $3.1 billion, according to Labor Department statistics. The Vermont Manufacturing Extension Center, also known as VTmecs, helps manufacturing businesses in our state grow and improve. And today we're going to learn more about the center and manufacturing jobs in Vermont. Joining us via Zoom is Carla Wietrich. Carla is VTmecs Director of Field Operations and Professional Manufacturing Business Growth Advisor. Great title. And welcome to you, Carla.
Thank you. Thank you.
So first, just tell us a little bit about VTmecs and about what you do.
Of course. VTmecs, as its name applies, Vermont Manufacturing Extension Center, is committed to Vermont and to manufacturing. And as a materials engineer myself and a total geek in process and system and organizational science, I hope that you and those watching today get a little bit of my enthusiasm about why I think manufacturing and its innovation and its opportunities for career growth is just really a great place to be.
Right, and there's so much going on in Vermont. It's really quite astounding. With more than 75% of the 1,200 manufacturers that you've already worked with.
Oh, absolutely. And there are so many manufacturers in so many different industries. We've been around for more than 25 years. And if you think about the more than 32,000 jobs in Vermont in manufacturing, and every one of those impacts or supports 4 more jobs in the area, that's pretty impactful.
That's terrific. So I learned that VTmecs works in several areas, of course, and with various industries. So why don't you touch on some of those for us?
Of course, we work with and industries such as food and beverage, and you'll see some of those rolling here. Companies like Vermont Creamery and Darn Tough, you're seeing that there, textiles and wood and metal, Vermont Precision Tools, and also high-tech companies like Chroma and Global Foundries. And we work with companies that are big and small and in all stages, because it's so important that startups have the support, multi-generational family companies have the support, and companies that are in transition. And so we work with the people in the companies, as you see here, from the senior leaders who are working on those strategic activities that such as trying to figure out which investments to make and what to do with their supply chains or workforce practices. And we work with those who are working the technical issues and the production and engineering problems and striving to improve their processes to deliver quality products. And we use team collaborative methods, technology, and systems to work on the innovation and really harness each of the individual's abilities for our community, really.
Right. I was impressed. It's not only about technology and what are innovations and how you can use these new technologies, but also IT, finance, HR, to just make everything flow and work better. So it really, you cover the gamut.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts is of the job is really when you've got people who work in the same space but not really are working together or working with each other yet. And so just bringing those folks together, I mean, you can't really just read a book and learn how to have a thriving manufacturing business, right? And so we really work to bring people together, and really even small changes in one person's work can have a huge impact on another's and on what the customer gets out and when. So it's a pretty fun place to be.
Absolutely. Well, and labor shortage is a very hot topic these days, and manufacturing is not immune to this important aspect of today's world. So what tools does VTmecs offer to assist in workforce development?
Right. This is a big one. And like you said, manufacturing is not the only one. So over the decades, VMEC has used proven methods, right, to develop skills and capabilities. And those familiar with VMEC can attest to that. And we're all adapting, and we have a customized approach, and we have an applied learning approach, and that has been really effective in getting companies what they need when they need it. And then it's really fun to watch. Maybe those leaders got some training at one point and some coaching, and they come back around and they're really leading different parts of the business and having more influence on where the company's going. And then as they really get their feet underneath them and continue to go, they're becoming resources within the manufacturing ecosystem, and they're sharing. VMEC has a lot of forums and things like that where we bring companies together, and these folks who we've worked with over the years really become part of that resource and are able to help people across companies,
right,
with examples, real life examples, right?
So clearly you are so valuable as a resource for training, retention, and innovation to manufacturers and other organizations in Vermont. Can you speak a little bit more about sharing resources?
Of course. It is a pretty humbling job, and I'm proud about what we do. We're fortunate in Vermont, and there are a lot of people who care. And what's really unique about VMEC is that we have this kind of lens, as manufacturing lens. And so we can bring some of the resources that are available to all different kinds of businesses and even demonstrate how those resources can be put to use and to really impact our communities through the manufacturing sector, right? And so we have those resources, and we can help companies access them and also leverage them.
Right, so probably everything from state, regional, national, making sure that that's all merging, and that those peer-to-peer networks are really happening.
Oh yeah, I think it comes from building on those years of the kind of the integrity that we strive for, and we make those resources readily accessible, and then also integrate it into what we do, but especially more importantly what the business does and how they can kind of really leverage and move forward with some of these resources that are available. And with COVID and all that, we were really proud to be part of and work really hard to bring a voice to the issues of manufacturers and other businesses, and that were really dynamic and changing all the time. And it was one thing to have the knowledge, and the other thing to have the skills to be able to put everything that was changing into place so that we could keep our people
Sure.
and our businesses safe.
Well, let's get into that just a little bit more. When our world changed for everybody in March of 2020, how did manufacturing and your sector respond, and how is it still responding in light of COVID?
Sure. So, the Vermont governor put a Restart Vermont action team together, and they reached out to many and VMEC. And VMEC really was the convener of that group. And again, we don't do anything alone, in this world. But really, again, giving voice, and we came up with this mantra of stay safe, stay strong, and stay open, because it was important for manufacturers to stay open and for the economy, as you mentioned earlier, how important it is for people and for the supply chain to have those
Right.
those manufacturing lines continue. And so one example of that is with health officers. So there was a mandate that every shift had a health officer on duty. And really, some of these people never had a kind of a supervisory role. And we were able to kind of use our methods, as you mentioned before, of workforce development and supervisor development to quickly get those skills, very, very specific skills to folks so that they could confidently and capably do that role as health officer. They weren't health officers before.
Yeah, make sure everyone's safe during really crazy times.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So before we wrap up, I want to make sure that we get a chance to talk about National Manufacturing Day on October 1st. And for us Vermonters, I hear we have recognized October, the whole month, as Manufacturing Month.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And every day is Manufacturing Day for us, as you probably can imagine. But yeah, Vermont recognizes Manufacturing Month, and October 1st it launches, and we not only have a chance to, again, champion manufacturing every day of the year, but for instance, appreciate you having the opportunity to be on your show here and really loudly proclaim manufacturing and its importance in the communities. And we have some really great opportunities to go kind of inside companies and see the real problem solving and innovation that happens. And on October 18th, we'll follow an engineer at Global Foundries and really walk through the problem solving process in 10 minutes or less. We'll have a chance to take a look at a couple problems that they're working on right now, right with them. And we're going to bring some students along with us. And then we'll have a chance to go to the Advanced Manufacturing Center at Randolph, the VTMC, and do the same thing later in the month. And we got a few other things up our sleeves. If you go to vmec.org, you can check those out, and and other local and national things going on for Manufacturing Day.
So you're even calling on manufacturers, if they aren't already involved, that they could consider hosting one of these things.
For sure. And Manufacturing Day has been going on for 10 years now, and of course manufacturers are that's it. I remember my first days at VMEC, and I went to Darn Tough and several other GW Plastics, and I got a chance to see and talk to the people, and we're doing more things virtually, so it's a lot easier to catch more of those. So I encourage you, if you're a manufacturer, to give us a call, and we'll help you put something out there and be able to interact with folks, and especially students or those who are manufacturing curious.
We are out of time. To make sure that people know how to reach you, it's vmec.org, VMEC.org, and the telephone number is 802-728-1432. Thank you so much, Carla, and good luck to you, and have a great Manufacturing Month.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.